When I installed the engine on the gearbox, the pressure plate didn't look too good. I didn't really know anything about it, so I decided to go ahead with the install and look into it later. It turned out that I had to adjust the clutch cable all the way in to make the clutch work, and when releasing the clutch, it wasn't really smooth. So now it's time to take a closer look. This means pulling the engine out. After disconnecting the fuel lines and all the electrics, I put a jack under the engine and loosened all the bolts. I then carefully pulled it backwards and lowered it down. As I don't have a lift or the possibility to jack the car up high enough, all the work has to be done under the car. The screws on the pressure plate came off fairly easy, so no big drama. Another thing I noticed while driving was some hard metal against metal sounds when driving over bumps. As you can see here, the front mount of the gearbox was toast, causing the gearbox to hit the metal subframe when running over bumps. So now would be a good time to fix that, while the engine was already out, and I was waiting for a new clutch to arrive. First step was to disconnect the link to the gear shifter. Next step was to disconnect all the gearbox mounts, so the gearbox was free to move backwards. According to some other videos on YouTube, it should be possible to move the gearbox far enough backwards to remove the mount, without disconnecting the wheel suspension. It took a lot of effort, but finally I got it out. And the thing surely was no good anymore. It also turned out the previous owners had mounted it upside down, which might have been the root cause for it failing. I ordered a new heavy-duty version and installed that. finally reconnecting the rear gearbox mounts. Reconnecting the shifter, the one thing that shouldn't happen happened. I lost the screw down into the tunnel. With a magnet taped to a stick, I managed to fish the screw out and finish the job. In the meantime, a new clutch and pressure plate had arrived. A significant difference was that the central ring was missing on the old one. As far as I could find out, these are removable on the old pressure plate to make it usable for different model years. This makes a difference for about 6 millimeters in height, so I hopefully don't need to adjust my clutch cable all the way in. I clean up the clutch surface with some brake cleaner. As you might have noticed, I finally added some more light to the garage. Unfortunately, the lights are flickering on camera. Sorry for that. I give the flywheel a thorough wipe down. Before installing the clutch, I grease up the splines in the clutch plate. As I torque up the screws, the flywheel starts rotating. I don't have a flywheel locking tool, but in this position, a screwdriver against the floor works just fine. As a final check, I measure that the new higher pressure plate will be able to fit inside the bell housing without touching the clutch release bearing. Then I can put the wheels back on, so I can lower the car and lift up the engine. I carefully lower down the car in small steps while making sure the engine isn't caught up on anything. It took quite some wiggling around to get the engine at the right height and angle to slide it in place. First test drive after this operation showed a lot smoother clutch when pulling away from a standstill, and the clonking noise when driving over bumps was gone.